Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to create a layout with scraps. If you have been paper crafting for any amount of time, chances are you have a ton of scraps. So I have a bunch of 1/2-inch strips and I'm going to give you an idea to use these today. Now let me bring in my VersaMat. Maybe you did or didn't notice, but these cardstock pieces are shiny. Check that out. They have a UV coating. Close to my heart has a special going on with their cardstock right now, and this is part of that Cardstock Carnival special. It is available just until March 31st, so if you want to grab some of this, you are going to want to take advantage of that. What I'm going to do is start on a piece of white daisy cardstock. Now I have all my strips. To make this easier, we're going to create like a little border of strips here. I cut a piece of 7" by, it is 7 by 12, or excuse me, 11 3/4. I'm actually going to adhere my strips to this piece, and then it'll be easier to cut the edges. I'm going to lay down my all-purpose mat. That way, if I go off the edges of my cardstock with adhesive, this just is a very nice cleanable work surface. So I'm applying some tape runner. You could do this with liquid glue, but I thought this would be the easiest. So we just start at one upper corner here, and we're going to just create a diagonal pattern going across. I am scrap lifting a layout from the actual special itself, which I'll pop up here, but I'm going to switch it up and put my own spin on this. So you can see we're just kind of following the rainbow of colors with these gorgeous pieces of cardstock and repeating the pattern once we got through all of our colors. I'm almost finished to the bottom here, and let me cut this off so we have just a few pieces to patch the corner. And then what I'm going to do is, to make this easiest, I'm going to cut one edge with my scissors to give me a flat edge. And now I can bring in my paper trimmer and trim it this way. I think it'll be faster. Just run it down the edge. Oh, cool. Look what I made. You never know what you're going to come across in paper crafting. I think I could use that on another project. Little pennant banners there. How fun is that? So then we'll just get this side trimmed up. And now we have this beautiful rainbow pattern. Check that out. I absolutely love all of the just beauty that shine adds. I'm flipping my VersaMat over because we're going to do a lot of stamping. So I'm drawing a line, my T-square ruler here. I love how it hooks on the edge of the VersaMat and helps it stay in place. This is just going to give me a guide for where I can add my stamping. You guys know how much I love my perfectly imperfect patterns, so I grabbed several ink shades, Lagoon, Raspberry, Nectarine, and Glacier, and here is this awesome stamp set. It's just perfect for creating background texture. You can do so many different things with this stamp. So I have one of the little kind of splotches here, and I'm starting at the top using the Lagoon ink and lining it up where my Lagoon colored papers are going to be. So it's going to overlap into the other blues, and that's okay. And now I'm using these tiny little splatter dots to extend that. So we have our circular color splotch, and then I extended it with the same color in the little splatter bits. I highly recommend having a stamp chamois handy to clean your stamps in between ink pads. I have my grape color, so I did end up grabbing a few more shades. Now this one I'm going to use 2nd generation stamping, so I'm going to stamp that off so it's not quite so intense, and then we'll have a lighter shade of that lovely grape color. And you'll notice I offset that too. I don't want all of my little color splotches perfectly uniform from top to bottom, so I'm going to kind of offset them to the, left and right a little bit as we go down. So this is raspberry, and I'm going to repeat the process with all the different colors, lining them up with my rainbow strips on that gorgeous UV coated cardstock. Now, if you're not one for bright colors, hang tight to the end of the video because I have a few more projects to show you how you can get different looks with different pattern papers. I'm working my way down my rainbow border, alternating the ink colors to match the cardstock colors. So I won't make you watch all of that. And here's the finished result. I love this. This is like controlled mixed media. Anybody can do this. I love how the little splatters extend from those colors. So this is a 4x6 photo of my niece and her cat. I'm going to pop this up on black. So adding the bit of black is really going to draw your focus to this particular photo, which obviously we want that to be the star of the layout. So we have all these bright colors going on, but she's wearing a raspberry pink shirt, which is just perfect. But again, that black makes it pop. Now, anytime I have a transition from, pattern paper onto the rest of my layout, I like to put like a border strip or have something. The, original layout, they used little flowers, but I thought these hearts would be fun. So I cut a bunch with a stitched heart die that is from my stash, and I'm layering these. And instead of going all the way, I thought it'd be fun to stop at the photo and overlap those a bit. And again, I'm lining these up with the patterned or the cardstock colors, and it'll just look like a continuation. Now for my title, I thought it'd be fun to mix and match some elements. I've grabbed my In Full Bloom scrapbooking stamp, and I am using little bits of this Post-it removable tape. I have these little bits and torn pieces that I use to hold my dies down, so I'm repurposing those and masking off the word bloom. Now we've done a lot of work to this layout. So I have archival black ink, and there's some things you can do to improve your stamping success. Flip your VersaMat over so you're working on the foam side, and that gives you a better impression. And then stamp it a couple times. Make sure that it's picking up the ink. You don't have any bits of lint or fuzz or any weird randomness on your stamp. And then just check it. Make sure you don't have ink where you don't want it. And that is really going to help you get a better stamped impression. I know a lot of us are scared. We put all this work into our layout and they're like, nope, I'm not doing it. So that says live life in full. And then I'm going to use my slim alpha dies to cut out the word color. So I grabbed more of those scraps. I think this L we're going to fit right on that 1/4 inch strip. Perfect. I love how thin these are because you can fit a longer word in a smaller space. I say this all the time. I love having a good alphabet die set because you're never going to run out of letters, and then you can just mix and match them to coordinate with your projects. So we have cut out the word color. So our full title will read Live Life in Full Color. I always like to dry fit my embellishments and my letters and everything before I commit, make sure it looks good. I cut several layers of black cardstock and I already adhered them together. So my top shiny cardstock is going to be the 3rd layer. And I'm offsetting these ever so slightly to create a drop shadow. And it's hard to appreciate, but I think you'll be able to see it better in the end when I hold it up. But using liquid glue allows you to slide that, and you can, it gives you better control to create that uniform drop shadow that the black cardstock layer gives. You see it a little bit more on the yellow. It's a better contrast. So this just, like I said, gives it more presence and dimension. It'd be really hard to put foam tape on the back of these. So just die cutting extra pieces, stacking them together, and then just shifting it slightly to create that shadow really adds a lot of interest. I'm going to draw journaling lines right on my background layout here with my little journaling pen. This is a 0.01, and I'm making several lines with my T-square ruler. And then I am just going to make a few. If I have more to say, I can always add more lines, right? But you can't take them away. So I grabbed this from my stash. This is, I think, called Craft On, and these rainbow colors are absolutely perfect. They match beautifully. That's one of my favorite things about using primarily Close to My Heart is I can mix and match my kits, and they all come from the same color family, so they're probably going to work well together. So these say, love you, think happy, best ever, live out loud, and wonderful. And I'm just going to stagger these to create some interest and a little cluster over on the left-hand side here. I won't make you watch all of them, but I am using some 3D foam tape to pop those up and give them a little bit of dimension. Now, you could definitely leave the layout as is, but I'm going to take it a bit farther and bring in some fun sequins. So what I really like to have on hand for my sequins is this pickup tool. You can see it's a wax pencil, and when it loses its tackiness, you just sharpen it and it's brand new again. You get 2 to a pack, and they're just so helpful. And I'm going to dump out little piles of sequins. This is the wild berry sequins, and then match it up with the coordinating color of ink. And I'm not going to go crazy. I'm going to add just a few of these for some texture and sparkle, and I just think it'll be a really fun detail. Now this is julep, which is retired color, but I have it in my stash, so I am going to use it. And then the Multicolor pack is called Crafty, and if that is still available, I will leave it listed in the description box below, of course, with all of the other supplies in today's project. So this is, like I said, you could have stopped before this, but I think this is a super fun detail to add to this project. And I'm thinking, since I introduced the little subtle black around the photo, I'm going to add some of these black acrylic hearts, just a couple. We have this odd space in the title, and I like the way that looks. That fills that out nicely. And then I'm going to add just a few more of these to the left-hand side above our little fun word strips there. I think I'm going to do that one. Perfect. Those coordinate along nicely with our heart theme too. So the easiest way to adhere these sequins is to attach them to your micro glue dots. Do you guys watch Kathy Zilski? I love watching her create cards, and I just can imagine her being like, boop, boop, every time she puts down a sequins. If you watch her channel, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's too funny. So I'm just adding my journaling, and I'm just talking about how much my niece adores her cat, Holly, and how I love this photo. If you see, look closely at Holly, her little pink tongue is hanging out, and it matches Madeline's shirt, and I think it's just adorable. Before I bring in those other projects, I just want to hold this up so we can check out that shine one more time and see the fun sequins detail that added to our little color splotches there. Now, I took this exact design and scaled it down to create a very simple card. I left off the little border, but we still used the little splattery bit stamp to extend that color, and I love how fun that turned out. Now, like I said, if you're not into the rainbow, you can use any pattern paper strips. This is the In Full Bloom, and I love the way this one turned out and can totally see that on a scrapbook layout. If you picked up some helpful tips and tricks from this video, I would love it if you'd give me a thumbs up. And if you're looking for even more inspiration for using scraps, then check out this video right here. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!